you get to see the pre-show here. It's always here, right? Got almost 2 minutes left in the pre-show. I got to test all the equipment, make sure my hair looks good. It's a little messy. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to let it be messy. But tonight, it's all about the our goals. How far we've gone in this since the first of year, right? And all that good stuff. So let's see, make sure. Okay, yeah, I had to make sure I had a had a level there. I was like, can you even hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay, let's get into here. All right, and we have about a minute and a half. It's coming up to a minute and a half left in the pre-show. And tonight is all about, here we go. Pull it up. How are you, Courtney? Amber, thanks. Hi. Share this out to all your friends. Have about a minute, 20 seconds to do that. There you go. And I'm going to bring it up and put it out there too. Go. All right. Perfect. And let's share it there. Perfect. All right. We got 42 seconds left. Oh no. Share it out to all your friends, copy it to your links, do whatever you gotta do. It's just an awesome thing to do, right? Here we go. Well, I think I shared it to everybody that I can share it to. Well, welcome on board. We have about 20 seconds or so before we're gonna get this party rocking. Tonight we're gonna talk about where we are so far. Take a little sip of water before I go into my half hour. I'll be on here from 6:30 to 7 Central Time. We're going to get this party going in. Welcome, everybody, to tonight's show. Thank you. I am Dave Stelma, and I'm going to be here till for a half hour or more. We're going to talk tonight about why you should stop living paycheck to paycheck, and it starts with just writing out your goals, getting them defined, and we'll see how the money flows in after that. And it's all going to start right after the break. How's it going so far this year? How are you doing on your goals? We all start out January 1. We start writing our goals out. We start getting all fired up, right? We're going to go to the gym every day. We're going to do all this. This month I'm taking part in, hi Kyle, I'm taking part in a challenge in another group as far as keeping us accountable. What habits did we want to change that we haven't changed? Things of that sort. It's kind of a booster shot for our goal setting because it's getting me thinking again about what I wanted to do. And with the goals that I set for this quarter or this year, and how far am I along in those goals? And so what I did is I broke it down to, and if you're not acquainted with this show, because I shot it out to my closed group tonight too. If you're not acquainted, I do this every Tuesday night at 6:30 Central Time. And so I broke it down to three things. One is defining your goals, and then the next one is how do we utilize those goals, and then how are people going to pay us for our awesomeness? And so first off, I want to talk about defining your goals. We start off at the beginning of the year, writing down our goals, or we're thinking about our goals, or we're, vaguely have an idea of what we want to do. So many times I get clients that say, I want to write a book, or I should write a book, because then that's going to boost my likability. It's going to put me out there. I'm going to have this book now. And then there's so many people that maybe become part of a book. They, along with other people, a collaboration, they become part of the book. And then what happens? They have no plan for what to do after the launch. When you launch a book, let's take that for example. When you launch a book, you want to just take that and you want to have a whole series of events that take place to keep that book in people's minds, to reach out to organizations to say, hey, I am now a best-selling author, or hey, I have this book, here's a sample of the book, or here's, you know, a chapter of the book, and I'd like to come and speak to your organization and that. And so you have to launch that in coordination with that book launch. You want to be out there and you want to get seen. Now, that's a defined goal. Some people just say, I should, or I want to, and they have these vague ideas. And a little light bulb went on above my head. If you get my newsletter, I send out a newsletter every Monday through Friday. Feel free to sign up. I'll put a link below. Later on after this goes, I'll put a link below. Hi, Sophia. And a little light bulb went on this week, and I was thinking about how Ember and I always say when it gets 30 below zero here in Wisconsin, or snowy, like last week was a great example. We got snow in April when generally it's supposed to be rain. You know, April showers bring May flowers, you know. It was supposed to be, you know, rain and things of that. It was cold. It was like 30 degrees for a high, Fahrenheit, not Celsius, Fahrenheit for those, Sophia, that are not in America. But it was cold. And so Ember and I get a tendency at when it gets to that point, go, oh yeah, we want to move to Sedona. We want to move to Sedona, Arizona, where it's warmer and it's just wonderful. I like more of the heat, and it's just wonderful weather in that. And so we get saying that, but we never really define it. We never really start, you know, every so often we look, you know, on the internet about homes out there or condos out there, things of that sort. And we kind of play around with it and not really, but we never really define that goal. We never say, okay, this year, by the end of November, you know, by November 30th, 2018 at 5 o'clock, we will be owning or purchasing a home in Sedona, Arizona to live in during the winter time. I mean, we don't ever define that. So if we don't make that definition, if we don't set up that goal, if we really don't define what we want, it's never gonna happen. Hello? Light bulb went on. Big aha moment, right? It's never gonna happen if you just play around with it. You have to really define it, set it out there, set your intention, start looking at different homes, start setting up, you know, what's going to happen here. You know, if we have two places, what's going to happen here? Who's going to be watching our home or our condo here in Wisconsin while we're out in Arizona? Things of that sort. What are you going to do? How are you going to set that up? What type of lifestyle are we going to have? You know, you're going to set those things up. Now, lesson learned, lesson burned, right? So that's what I'm going through is what else, if that's something that I just vaguely say and don't really define, what else am I doing? And I want you to ask that of yourself. Take a few minutes this week and just think of, you set all these goals in January, or you had the intention of these goals in January. Now, how about you just sit down and take some of those that you really didn't define? You didn't write them down. You didn't start a vision board. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. You didn't write them down. You didn't put them in black and white. Black and white. And you didn't define it that way. How many of those did you do, or didn't do, I should say? Let's do it. We're only in the first quarter. With first quarter's done, we have 3/4 of a year to go. If you go by a calendar year. I just keep going. But it's like, if you go by calendar year, we have three quarters of a year to go. You can still do this. You can still make this happen. If you live one more day, anything is possible tomorrow. We can't change anything in the past, but we can sure to heck. I said heck, sorry. You sure to heck can change things for your future. And that starts with that defining that vision, defining that goal. So I want you to sit down this week, and I want you to think about those things in January or maybe last year. And I want you to, hi, Kyle. Did I say hi to Kyle? I don't know if I did, but there you go. I want you to sit down and write those out. Write those out. By the way, Kyle, I got to give you big applause, Kyle. He is 2 years, I believe 2 years, tobacco free. That's a big, huge thing to stop. And I applaud you for that. So big round of applause for him. Yes, show him some love. That's a big, big, big step. And I want to applaud you right here in front of the world. Thank you. But sit down, define those goals that you have not done yet. If you're just vaguely were playing with something, then just throw it, put it out there and write it down, define it. Let's do a vision board on it. Let's do everything of that sort on it, okay? So I want you to do that this week. Think of all those things that you just say or you play around with. I want you to sit down, make a list, and define them. Put an end date, put a date and a time stamp on it. I want you to, if it's going to be buying a new car, I'm going to buy my new, and then define what kind of car it is, the color, every detail of it. And then I want you to put by October 21st, 5 o'clock, or 5 o'clock on October 21st, 2018. I want you to define it. And then I want you to come back here, come back and put it in the comments. Tell me what you want. Because it's no good to just hide it in yourself. You don't just write it down on a piece of paper and hide it in your pocket and don't tell anybody about it. Tell those people that can help you make that happen all about it. Okay? Because that's the way goals are made. You don't do goals. You don't set goals to just do them by yourself and hide away in your home. You do them so that you can tell people how you did it. Kyle, same thing. He did that. He was like, no more tobacco. Set the goal. Done. Cold turkey. And then pulled the plug and let her go. And now 2 years later, he's so much more healthier than he was 2 years ago. So I applaud you again, Kyle. Thank you for doing that. And the world will love you even longer for doing that. Next, I want to talk about taking them from black and white to color. Yeah, let's put some color in those goals. So let's take it out, and yes, we're going to write down. Hi, Julie. Thanks for coming on. We're going to take those goals, and now let's really colorize them. Let's do a vision board. I'm just as guilty as anyone. I've done vision boards in the past. I slacked off on these, and now I'm going to, first quarter's done. I put a lot of time and effort into my new group. I applaud you guys if you're watching. Any of you are watching in the group. I have it pulled up on my Dave Stelma page, so I don't have it in the group. Sorry. I applaud you for doing so far. I slacked off myself. If you have a vision board and you have it set for this year's goals, I think that is awesome. I have slacked off. I've done them in the past, but I just didn't do it. I focused my time on my new group. I focused my time on getting a few different goals in place for the beginning here. And now I realize I really need to go back and revisit those other goals, and I really need to define those and put together a vision board, but add some color to it. There's a few goals out there that I vaguely said I'm gonna do, like I'm gonna finish my book this year. And now I need to really put a date and a time to that, and I really gotta sit down and finish that. And I need to put things together as far as a color and things of that sort, and maybe a book cover and that, or just a rough draft of a book cover and that too. I need to add some pictures to it. I need to make it set in my mind of what that is. But that's what a vision board does. A vision board will then bring you color and feelings and life. It embeds it within you, and it makes things just more fun, right? Especially when you're putting it together, you're finding the perfect picture to put on that board and the perfect words that are inspirational to you, and it really makes things just pop. Makes things gives a feeling. It sends it to your heart brain, and it shoots it out towards everybody that's there, and then you start talking about it. And then if people come over and see it, they'll be like, "Oh, what's that about?" And you can start talking about it to them as they come in. You share those goals and those dreams that you have, and you make them come true. And the other thing that you do is you have to make those steps. You have to leave that space open for all those great things that you want, those goals that you want to come true. You got to leave a space there for it to come in. You got to open it wide up. Like one of the things that came up this week was in a conversation, I should say, a side conversation in a discovery call, was they had a goal of getting starting their business, coaching business. They had a goal of getting clients. They had a goal of that, but they didn't really have a defined date with it. They didn't have a defined way of receiving it. I said, well, how are people going to pay you? Like once you get, so if someone says, I want to hire you as a coach, how are they going to pay you? Oh, well, I didn't think about that. I'm like, so how are you, what if you get somebody that's from, 1,000 miles away? How are you going to coach them? Are you set up? Do you have a Zoom account? Do you have, what do you have? No, I don't have any of that stuff. So they went through, that was on the list of things to do. We're going to go through and we're going to get all those things in place. So as soon as you get that first person that says, yes, I want to hire you, now this is how you do it. This is how you do it. This is, you can send them a Zoom link. You can take their money. You have it either a PayPal account or a Square account or some way to receive money, or it's just through Messenger. You have some way to receive money, but you have to have all those things in place. I always use the analogy of you got to dig the ditches before it rains. I know that's kind of a biblical thing, but you have to do that. You have to dig the ditches before it's going to rain. So you have to set up all those things before it's. So think of that. What if you have this goal? Now think of everything that if you were on the other side and you were someone that was coming in as a client. Now you got to think of like how to set that up so that you can receive them. So you can receive them, right? So all those little things that are entailed. So it can be, a checking account. It could be I don't know what you have in place, but it can be as simple as that you have to have a checking account in place, or you just have to have some portal, some way, and it can be easy with Facebook or the different accounts that are social media accounts that are out there. You can receive people through that. Or setting up a free Zoom account so you can talk to them. Any of those things, that's the things that you have to go through and set them up. What's the name that you want? If you want to play around with a name or a logo or something of that sort, that could be something that you need to set up too. And you can do something on your own if you can't afford to pay someone to do it. There is, I call it Fiverr, but it could be Fiverr, I don't know. That's out there that you can hire an artist or something for $25 somewhere in there to come up with a logo and things of that sort. Otherwise, you can always use Canva. Go on there, get some ideas, look at what other people have done, get some ideas, and then make your own logo that's temporary now. Once you start making money, then you can start spending some money. So don't get as overwhelmed, don't get as involved in the hows of that, but just think of the steps that you need to take to make your goals come true. I always use the analogy of a vacation. if you're going to go to Disney World, you're going to start planning all the things you have to do along the way, how you're going to get there, what are you going to do when you get there? Because if you go to Disney World and you just walk in the gates, it's going to be pretty overwhelming, right? You're going to be like, which way do I go? What do I want to see? And then you're going to start thinking about it, because as soon as you start developing a plan, you're halfway through the day already, and now you're going to be like, now I'm overwhelmed. Well, let's go on a couple of rides. Let's just leave. And now you just wasted a lot of money and a lot of time. And that can be the same thing for your business and your goals. If you're not starting a business this year, it could be just your goals in general. You can waste a lot of time and a lot of money on your goals just getting prepped and ready. So don't wait until you get to that point and then all of a sudden have to pay someone to do this stuff. You can go on these free, Canva is free, Zoom is free to set that up. PayPal is free to set that up. And so any of those things are possible. If you have, hey, go into the comment section and tell me one of your goals for this year. Give me one of your goals for this year. I know everybody's got one. Everybody's got one. It's either I'm going to go on a vacation here. I'm going to go do something. Tell me one of your goals in the comment section. But go and chunk it down, as we say. Figure out what it is that someone on the other side, if you're going to take money from someone, what do you have to do? If someone's going to pay you for a service or something, you got to set that all up ahead of time, right? So think about those things and then just start taking the steps towards it, because that's all things that you have to prep and get ready, because it's all coming down. It's all happening. You can do this. I know you can. Oh, there you go. Now that leads me into, Sophia is building her dream home. I love it. I love it. I want to hear more about that. This leads me into the next segment, which is, don't worry about the money, honey. There you go. Money is only the means that people use to pay you for your awesomeness. Yeah. If you have, if you sell coaching, I sell coaching. That's just a way to pay me for how I'm helping them, how I'm giving them my awesomeness. Same thing for you, and that's not an ego thing. Sophia knows this, Julie knows this, Kyle knows this. There's got to be, we're all awesome people. We all give our awesomeness for free most of the time, right? Just meeting people at a grocery store or wherever it is, you run into them and you lift them up and you inspire them. And it could be just from the smile that you give them. And you need to find a way, a product. If it's not you, then it's something, a product of some sort, so they can pay you for your awesomeness. They want to give you money. They want to say, I would love to give you money. Ember has her clothing. She has sells clothing. So she has leggings and tops for women, right? And dresses and all that good stuff. And that's the way, because Ember is an awesome person. She lifts everybody up. She makes them smile and feel good. And the clothing is just a way that people can say thank you for what she does for them. They're not really buying clothing. I mean, they are, but they're not really paying for the clothing. They're paying for the awesomeness that you're giving them. If you go and work at a place, go work at a store, go work at a shop or something of that sort, they're not paying you just to put part A into part B, or to be nice to a person and bag their clothes up and sell it and ring them up and that. Those people are finding a way to pay you for your awesomeness, if you're doing it right. And especially, anyone knows this, anybody, Sophia, you know this. Ember, you know this. Julie, you know this, because you're in a customer service, client service type position. And if you own your own business, you really, really know this, because you give, and you kind of go, wow, this is, it really worth it? Are these people, you know, but people want to pay you for it. You doubt yourselves from time to time, but I'm going to tell you, all you have to do is keep creating ways that they can pay you for being awesome. It's hard to teach when I coach other coaches and I coach people. It's hard to get them in that mode of, oh yeah, they do. I'm like, they're not paying you for that product. I mean, they are, but they're not really. They're paying you for your awesomeness. I can't say that word enough. They're paying you for your awesomeness. So find different ways, different products, different knowledge, ways that they can pay you for it. Because they would love to just come up and say, you know what, you gave me that $1 million idea and here's $500,000 because then I keep $500,000 and you keep $500,000 because that was $1 million idea. But they don't do that. So if you give them a coaching program, you give them a product of some sort, you give them clothing like Ember does, you give them away, because when people are paying Ember for clothing, they're not paying her physically for those clothes. I can't say that enough. They're paying because she's an awesome person. She makes them smile. So she finds ways through her clothing. She picks out the perfect clothing. She buys the perfect clothing. She buys the right sizes. And then the people come on board to her Facebook page. She does just have a Facebook page. Why spend money on a website now when she can just do it right out of there? And so she does it off her Facebook page. They come in there, they find something because they want to pay her for something because she made them feel great today. And so they buy her clothing. It's as simple as that. Every time I do a little special live on Ember's group where we might draw a name or something of that sort, it's no brain surgery, it's no rocket science, it's nothing, whatever you want to term it as. There's nothing like that to it because, surprise, people come on and they buy more things every time we do that. Why is that? Oh, people will say because, well, you went on live, you showed them that you were there, you did this, you did that. I'm going to tell you something. What it is that we made it available for them to purchase something, to appreciate us for our awesomeness. And it's not an ego thing when you think about that. I always, every time I tell this out amongst the world, every time I do a talk or something of that, and I go into that people need to pay you for your awesomeness, I always get something about, oh, it's all ego. You got to get out of the ego and all that. That's not ego. That's just the way it is. It has to be reciprocated some way. It's either going to be by service or it's going to be by monetary value. That's all it is. Somehow, when you get that, you throw out that positive energy to someone, it has to be reciprocated somehow. And you might as well make yourself a product because you're all awesome people. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here listening to me right now. So pat yourselves on the back right now. But you're all awesome people. And so find a product. Keep making another product. Or whatever, a service, a product, some way, somehow for people to pay you for your awesomeness. Does that make sense? I hope it does because it's the truth. I speak nothing but the truth. Yes. All right. Now, briefly, in the last couple of minutes that I have, I want to make sure I tell you about tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, I will be right back here, right now. As Ember reminded me about Ed Sullivan earlier, we're going to have a really big shoe. I'm going to have Michael Klein here tomorrow night. And Michael Klein is a master certified trainer and facilitator of RIM, which is regenerating images in memory. And what RIM does is something pretty incredible. And I'm not going to spoil that, but if you are suffering from anxiety or anything of that, post-traumatic stress syndrome, anything that is negative that keeps occurring and recurring in your brain and your mind and your visions throughout your life. It can be something that happened in early childhood. It could be something that happened in the not so distant past. And Michael will be here tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Michael will be here tomorrow night, 6 p.m. And we're gonna do an interview for an hour. So come back here, either Dave Stelma or in Creating Successful Coaches, either one of those groups. Come back in and ask Michael. You can shoot him in the comments. You can ask Michael any of those questions that you might have. Otherwise, look him up, Michael Klein, Kline, either in Facebook, or you can go to his website, which is, excuse me, that is not his website. You can go to his website, which is intus.life, INTUS, intus.life, and you can learn all about RIM on there, and you can learn about Michael on there, and you can come back here tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, and at Central Time, that is. And we'll be having a great conversation with Michael, and he's going to tell you all about RIM, and we're going to talk about Train the Trainer. We're going to talk about Jack Canfield. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff in coaching and his travels. He does this all over the world, in Europe and the United States. I shouldn't say all over the world. I think it's just Europe and the United States. But Michael Klein will be here, and you will be too. So come on back tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Central Time. I will see you then. I am Dave Stelma. I hope this was an enjoyable half hour for you, because it was great for me. All right, we'll see you here tomorrow night and next Tuesday at 6:30. Till then, have a great week. Be good to people and hug yourself. You know you need it.
If you like this video, like my Facebook page or subscribe to my YouTube channel, or find everything at davestelma.com.